ticket prices, but shit, we're already paying the price. So like, it's one of those things. Eventually, fans are going to stop going to the games until tickets prices gets too out of whack. So, I mean, but now, and these NFL teams, like during the summer, we broke it down. Each of these owners are making about $1 billion a year in profit per franchise on average. So, like, shouldn't they be paying a little more tax in business? I mean, the NFL gets way too many freebies.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So, is it a bad thing?
Nobody's saying that it is. That's what they're saying that this is going to lead to lower ticket prices, and that's what they're doing. Essentially, what it does is it tears down the shelter for these billionaires who can kick the can down the road for 15 years on the tax liability on tangible assets. So now they're only going to be able to write off half of that. So it's increasing their tax liability on intangible assets. And what it really is doing when they go to sell the team, the new buyers are not going to be afforded that same shelter that the old owners that made it so appealing for them to buy the team.
I think what they should do, what I wish Congress would do, is do what they've done in Germany with the Bundesliga. So in the Bundesliga, ticket prices are capped by the government.
Yep.
Right? So, like, you can, for €10, you can get a seat in Allianz Arena to go see Bayern Munich, the hottest ticket in Germany. You can get a seat for $10. Their resale market in Germany for their professional sporting events, there is no SeatGeek. They're only allowed a 10% markup. And
doesn't sound like capitalism to me.
So, yeah, I mean, they're only allowed a 10% markup because, like, look at Super Bowl tickets. Like, you can buy a Super Bowl. Let's say your Super Bowl ticket costs $1,000. Guys are flipping it for $5,000. 500% markup.
Right.
So the way they do it in Germany is definitely more fan friendly than what we do here in the States.
Yeah, well, Germany's got the wrong football, and it's not going to happen. So here's the problem I see with the bill: you're going to cap ticket prices, and then you're not going to be able to pay these athletes what they want to pay, and they're going to bounce around from team to team to team.
No, because they still get billions in TV revenue.
Yeah.
They still have the money.
They split that pie evenly too, by the way.
No,
so even
you get
teams get paid the same amount.
Big market teams are going to get billions in TV market. You're not going to get big market money to everybody.
Wrong. It's a big pie. They divvy it up evenly.
Well, no. He is right to a degree, though, because like the big market teams do get bigger revenue for their local stuff they do with their local TVs.
Sure.
Right. So he's got a point there, but to counter his point, the Bundesliga pays big contracts. I mean, look at Harry Kane did not bolt from the Premiership to the Bundesliga because the Bundesliga wasn't paying him. Those soccer players are have NFL contracts and make NFL contracts look like a Barbie doll. Thank you. So I mean that argument kind of falls flat because you look at the European market for professional athletes there, dude. Those soccer players make a ton more than football players do.
They do.
I only put that.
You forget what this is. This is America. This is about capitalism all the way. It's about the corporate. I'm surprised Trump even put this bill into effect.
Well, the bill
for rich people.
I mean, I don't think the bill says the cap,
rich people.
Does it? The bill doesn't cap. I'm saying they should cap if you want to be more fan friendly.
Yeah, the bill doesn't cap the ticket pricing. What he's trying to do is drive the ticket prices down so the average fan can afford to go again. That's the goal of it.
And while he's at it, can you please get rid of Fanatics because they ruin the game for fans trying to get sports memorabilia.
Yeah, Fanatics is a fucking joke.
Yeah, because that helmet that I have that I offered to you for $200 and we could get it brand new for $300.
Yeah.
You ready for this one? You guys are gonna enjoy this one. There's a guy.
So that means I can get it for $100 now?
No.
There's a guy on Facebook. He's posted it to 3 different rooms in Facebook selling a Caleb Williams unframed jersey with the inscription #1 overall pick, and he's asking $2,000 for this jersey.
I heard about that.
And if it said "Go Bears," it would be $5,000.
So, hey,
that's a good one, Will with the points
Don't get
there.
the attaboy there. Yeah,
that jersey will probably be worth it, Ken, because I was at a card show in Dallas, Texas, and I watched a guy buy an Ivan Pacheco rookie card before he even stepped foot on the field for $1,900.
So,
Literally
like,
watched
Oh
him buy
my
it.
god!
but to give you context, when we drafted Fields that year, when Fields was drafted, the first round quarterbacks, their autos were about 250. For about 250, you could get a jersey or a helmet. With Fanatics, with Caleb and Rome and Marvin Harrison, now that he's under contract, they're asking minimum 450. For $450, I can get a Barry Sanders.
Right.
I'd rather get a Barry. He's proven his chops. He's a Hall of Famer. Not
And JB, by the way, LGBTQB1, if it's a that, it'd be 10K. I guarantee.
if you frame it, well, maybe. But I mean, I think Fanatics, like even like Jordan Love was $75 in auto. Now he's signed at Fanatics, is jumping up to 300. It's like, really?
I think I win comment of the night. Kidding.
You might with that one.
I see that the Tigers broke out the brooms today there in San Francisco.
They
Nice.
sure did.
That
No,
ain't
here, actually.
that ain't saying shit because Minnesota swept San Francisco twice. So
Hey, you guys did. Hey, you know what's funny is if you look at the record since the Tigers started after the All-Star break, having that historic run to get to the playoffs last year, do you know that there's only one American League team that has a winning record against them?
Really?
The Cleveland Guardians or the Indians.
Indians.
6-3.
But here,
There's Indians.
I'm gonna give your Detroit Tigers a lot of respect right now.
Man, fuck Cleveland.
AJ Hinch came to Houston, and in year 5,
Ugh,
he took them to a World Series.
gross.
AJ Hinch is in what year with Detroit?
Year
So-
four.
Third,
Four.
Yeah.
Year
4.
No, he's in year. Is it 4?
It's 4.
Yeah.
Okay, 4. But he's starting out exactly the same way he did in Houston with the Astros. The culture, the team, believing. I'm going to say it right now on the 25th of June
28th.
or
of
28th.
May.
Of
The
May.
Detroit Tigers are going to the World Series this year.
Whoa. Whoa.
We love Mike.
One thing's for sure, when
Hey,
AJ
hey.
Hinch gets to the podium on a presser, he is so intelligent. This guy has made me a believer, man. Just listening to him talk about baseball and the ins and outs. I mean, we got the real deal Skip now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's one of the best skippers you'll ever get. And Houston was a bunch of dumbasses for firing him. They did it to save face. Even Alex Cora had to do a 1-year suspension, and Boston never, got rid of him. It was all because of ownership in Houston. They fucked up, and they're stupid. They'll never get back to the World Series.
Hey, to give you a different break on football, main event, you may want to chime in, but Kitty Cat Ken on the other show that's on the network, on the TV right now, his new name is Love MVP Incoming, and Rob is clueless and hashtag clueless in Chicago. But more importantly, as Ken said, that Love is going to be the league MVP this year, and
No.
that is his username.
The Dabs have finally got
and they're calling the Lions right now live as we speak, the most naive fan base in football, and showing the picture of the guy who had the Super Bowl tattoo, Ken's favorite picture. Yeah, so they're punking out the Lions right now.
They always punk out the Lions.
Well, they're saying
there's
that
nothing new
Jordan
than
Love will
anything
be
else they
the
don't do in their network.
I mean,
I got
I
a
love
quick
our
question.
network.
Hey,
Who
get
was
on there and say,
actually-
save last place for Green Bay, because that's what they're going to be.
Who was fifth in MVP voting last year?
was Goff.
It was
Yes.
Goff.
So for me, oh God. So for me, Goff. Here's my thing on Goff.
As long as the
Best
team
quarterback in the
didn't beat
division. I'll start off with that right now so you guys don't get mad at me. He's the best quarterback in the division right now. My problem with Goff is I don't know with the new OC if he's going to run Goff well like Ben did, right? So that's a concern. The other concern I would have for Goff is when under pressure last year, he was prone to making bad decisions.
Yeah.
And we saw that same behavior when he was with the Rams. So
but
with
it's the
Goff,
same-
that's my only concern about Goff is can he make better decisions when under pressure? And is this OC going to be able to run him like Ben ran him?
But at the same time, the year before, he was one of the best under pressure. All of his interceptions the year before came off of throws where he had nobody on him.
Yeah, but those were against the Bears. Most of those were against the Bears when they pressured him.
Jared Goff has the best completion percentage against the blitz of all quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
So, I mean, but you see, I have a little bit
But
of
I hear
concern.
what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. He gets pegged as a game manager, and he has one of the hallmarks of a game manager, which is when things get tough, he can't put the team on his back and do it himself.
Right.
And that's the tough part.
Right.
Every freaking year, somebody's got something to say about Goff and what he's not going to be able to do and what makes them nervous. But every year, that team gets better. I'm sorry. Goff is not – he was the issue in the playoff game. I'll give you that. But he's not – he wasn't the issue last year. He was one of the best quarterbacks. I'm getting tired of people saying –
No, I agree with you.
Goff is only a top 15 quarterback. You get the hell up out of here. He's got better. He's got the most yards since 2018. Besides,
he's the best quarterback in the division right now. That's why I let off. He's the best quarterback in the division.
B, he's a top 14 quarterback.
He's not a top 14. He's a top.
Well, you were bitching about top 15. I gave you a plus one, bro.
I'm exaggerating the point, though. That's what I'm saying.
I say between 6
well,
and
all
9.
the Green Bay Packer fans think that.
Depending on who you talk to, he's a top 10 guy. He's somewhere in the top 10. It could be as low as 3, as high as 10, depending on who you talk to and what their criteria is, right? Because some guys are going to say, look, Matthew Stafford's still better than him because, Stafford does Stafford things in L.A. Got it. People will say that about Baker. I think Goff is the best in the division. For him, it's like, okay, what's the new OC mean for him? And what's he going to do? Is he going to fold under pressure like he did in the playoffs? Because he did do that. Or can he fix it? And for you guys, I hope he fixes it. I hope that for you guys, that this OC can handle him like Ben Johnson did and put him in a position to excel and not put him in a bad spot.
And I don't think he's so much folded in the playoffs. I think he just had a really terrible game. He had a bad game.
And really, we scored in almost every possession. It just became very clear that our defense wasn't going to be able to stop Jaden Daniels. We went 3 and out in the first possession, and then they proceeded to score on every possession after. And it put the pressure on. And when Amik Robertson's arm got broken, the whole air came right out of us. We went, God, not him too. And at that point, we start pressing. Goff then, the game, that's when everybody says how bad of a game Goff had. And, J-Mo threw an interception because we were pressing because it was obvious that the next time they came out on the field, they were going to score again.
Well, Mike, taking that under consideration, though, like the Lions didn't have to press much last year, right? So as long as they don't have to press, I think life is hunky-dory in Detroit. But if the Lions have to press in games, that's where it's going to get really interesting for Jared Goff and this offense.
And that's why
I don't know about that. You forgot the Houston game when they were down 23 to something, nothing at the half. They
and Goff threw 5 interceptions.
And that wasn't even at home. That was
away in the first half.
I think that was one of those things where you're right, B, but also like the Texans were a terrible second half team at that point. But there's credit to be given to the Lions though because they did come back.
You should not win. You should not win when you're in the opposition team has got 23 points. They were at halftime in their stadium.
They weren't pressing. It wasn't as much as they were pressing as they corrected their errors in the first half. And then they corrected their errors and had success. And, I mean, that team down there was not a good second-half defensive team. And you guys rightfully won that game, but you weren't pressing like you were in that playoff game. It was a different difference.
I don't think we were pressing.
I need to move it forward. We need to get to this AFC West review. We're going to start with the last place team, which was the lowly Raiders. They did have some key additions this year. Did they address the O-line enough? I don't think so. I couldn't get a hold of Joe. I would have liked to have had him here. But what do you think their lowest amount of wins to their most amount of wins would be, main event, Mike?
Oh, I think they could win 10 games. I know it sounds ridiculous, but Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. Pete Carroll is the kind of guy that motivates men and raises their play. They could win 10 games. They could also win 6. I think they will at least win 6 games. Brock Bowers, Geno Smith. We know how much Pete Carroll loves to throw to the tight end, and he loves a running game, and Ashton Jeanty might be the real deal. I see him winning at least 6, possibly 10.
I agree. Ken?
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of agree with Mike on that. I think, and defensively, they still got Max Crosby. They got some guys coming back from injury that missed last year, so they got a good defense or a decent defense. I like their coaching change. I think that helps. I don't know if their running back is the guy they think he is that they drafted. There was a reason why a lot of us didn't want our teams to draft Genty. But I think I agree with Mike on the totals. I think 5 wins is the basement for them, and they could go as high as 10 wins in that and be competitive in that division.
I agree. Jamie, what's your take?
I think it's pretty much the same boat. I mean, Raiders last year were 4-13. They struggled. They were dead last in running the ball, and so they hired a head coach with a reputation and a system that he wants you to succeed at and do well, like he did with Seattle. So I think the Raiders are in the boat between, I say, 6 to 9 wins.
Well,
I agree with Jamie. I got between 6 and 9 wins. I got 7 wins out of the Raiders this year. I think it's a slight improvement.
Okay. B.
I think the AFC West is going to be the new AFC North. There's going to be a lot of competitiveness in that division. With the Raiders, I see them going up at least being
Competitive.
either 8-9 or 9-8. I think that's where their over under is right there.
Will the head coach run the ball on the 1 yard line?
No.
He has every time since that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That actually wasn't
He might
Pete
have learned
Carroll.
it.
To be fair, though, Josh, that wasn't Pete Carroll who called that play. It was Darryl Bevell, his offensive coordinator.
Right.
Yeah, but he's
He's
the coach.
everybody.
It
Yeah,
goes
but
through
he's the
his
head
headset
coach. He
though.
Yeah,
doesn't
but
know.
the offensive coordinator calls the play, though, not you got to remember.
I know he don't, but all calls go through the head coach before they go out in the field.
That's right.
So
Yes.
just remember that.
So, Adam, what do you feel about the Raiders?
Well, if Geno Smith sucks, are we going to see Cam Miller? That's my question.
Wow.
I mean, this was a Tom Brady pick in the 6th round, and he threw some darts, and of course, that's all they show on ESPN. And Mel Kiper really got the draft right.
He never does. Who in the hell is Mel Kiper?
I love that. Okay.
Who in the hell is Mel Kiper?
Why do you still have a
Yeah,
job?
I'm
All right.
curious to see how Jack Beck does. Getting that, he's going to be that slot. He's going to be that right wide receiver. But I can see 8 to 9 wins out of this team this year.
All right, Mike Johnson.
So, unlike
Tell
you
that bird
guys,
to quiet down.
I think Ash is going to be a great running back, and I do believe whoever, I don't know who, I didn't catch who said it, but I watched Cam Miller the whole time at NDSU, and he will be their starting quarterback. It's going to be a competitive, division. I actually see the Raiders making the playoffs this year and going out in the first round, but they're going to be a lot better than they were last year, with Pete Carroll, at the helm and focusing back on Raiders football, which is, stuff that shit down your face. We're going to run the ball, get the run game going. It's going to open up, their passing game. And, I see their basement at 8. I see their max at 12.
Dang.
I think that's a bird down there by Mike that's chirping.
Yeah,
No, that's frogs. We've had like 8 inches of
I'm
rain.
going
in
to
the
say it
last 2
sounds more like a
days.
frog, Mike.
I think he wants to be on the podcast.
My dad said it.
Sounds
Oh,
like
he
a
just
Packers
was.
fan in the background chirping.
The frog
Yeah,
made his
they chirp a
cameo.
lot.
There you go.
Mike,
The
are
joys,
you in
the joys
Texas?
of living in
My
the country,
feeling-
fellas.
Mike, are you in Texas?
Guys,
I am in Texas.
it's JB's turn.
Froghorn, baby.
Yep. So I actually said that they would be a 6 to 10 win team. As soon as I looked at their schedule, I didn't see more than the 11 losses, and it's because they do have a tough schedule for a 4th place team. All the 4th place teams ended up with a tough schedule out of the better division. The weaker divisions, they like the Jags. You're like, God, they could win the division possibly. Nah, I don't think so. They got sunshine still.
Yeah, but JB, like I hate this whole strength of schedule argument crap because really there's so much overturn in this league that the strength of schedule to me that argument holds no water until like week 9, because then you're seeing what the teams actually are. But like going, oh well, they've got easy strength of schedule because they're playing a team that last year, like okay, look at the NFC North. Is there an easy out against any team in the North? So when they go, well, they're playing the 4th place team in the North, you're still playing a good team.
I love the guy that argued that you can't lose half your games in your division and still get 13 wins. I was like, do the math. If those are the only 3 losses you have, you're a 14-win team.
Yeah.
Or they always like to change the strength of schedule during the season too. You ever notice that?
Well, yeah, because then they're basing it off of the current record.
Dude, and Ken is right. There's so much turnover. That's why, like last year, looking at the Lions schedule, I mean, who knew they were going to win all 6 division games? I didn't think they were going to pull that off. I didn't think they were going to be 15-2 either.
The Bears last year,
Sam Darnold sucks in primetime.
Well, the Bears last year coming into the season, everyone's like, "Oh, well, we got." The Bears had the easiest. The Bears last year coming into the season had the easiest strength of schedule that by midseason became the hardest strength of schedule.
That
so
did
that's
happen.
what I'm saying. It's a terrible argument that people make before the season. Oh, look how easy the schedule is. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they reevaluate your team midway through and realize that you still fucking sucked.
Yeah, but the whole strength of schedule is based on last year.
Yeah,
and there's so much turnover and change on these teams every year.
It's going to be the same shit with the
Like
Bears
your
and the
point,
Packers.
it's
I
window
knew
dressing.
Ken Doby was a Lions fan. I
had this.
Well, I'll say this: if I had to pick between Green Bay and Detroit, just saying.
Yeah, he said he wants a Barry Sanders jersey, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, then I would take I don't have anything Detroit, Green Bay, or Minnesota in my collection. I do want at least one piece from each team in the collection.
Nice.
Yeah, I would
Because
go Barry
you're
Sanders
secretly
too.
a fan of the other 3.
I like my Barry helmet.
Ken, that's not true because last year I had the Steelers going 8-2 up until week 9, and then the schedule just looked ridiculous. And the Steelers kind of fell apart. So I don't know. Maybe we look at it differently. But I definitely saw the Steelers first beginning of that schedule last year very shitty, and I had them going 8-2. The only question I had, like later on, like you said, the teams were starting to gel, and that was I started changing my mind a little bit on the Washington game, but we beat them anyway. But that Washington team really looked good, and I was like, oh, I don't know, man, this team's pretty sharp.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's schedule the second half was freaking brutal last year.
So
I mean, I don't know. The beginning was easy
because even Cleveland wasn't an easy out, right? Cleveland was still a tough game for teams, like because they still had Myles Garrett, they still had the defense. So,
hey guys,
I was trying to say I like what they did with the schedule more this year because you got a little bit of divisional games in the front of the schedule and a little bit in the back. Because especially in a tough division like our division, that makes it an easier schedule overall for every team in the division. Because you're not facing each other in the last 6 weeks all the damn time.
6 of the last 8, the Bears had 6 of the last 8 were division games. That was terrible.
And we saw that league-wide when the schedule came out. It wasn't just the NFC North. There's a lot of divisional games in week 1, which they haven't done for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Ken, I got an autographed Joey Harrington jersey for you.
Be it more appropriate with the piano thing,
but it's still an autographed jersey, so it'd still be worth having.
I know what Ken actually wants. He wants a Nate Suckfeld jersey.
There you go.
Joey Harrington was ruined by Matt Millen for just drafting receivers year after year in the first round and not giving him an offensive line and building in the trenches. That's what killed Joey Harrington.
For sure, Jamie. Good take. He was getting killed back there every game.
Yeah.
Because I always thought there were games where like I said with Detroit, it looked like he would play well, and then there were other games where the line would just kill him. That's the thing.
I remember draft day. I was sitting in the casino. I was in the bar of the casino when they drafted Joey Harrington. I was so happy. I bought the entire bar around. Cost like $380 or something. And boy, in hindsight, was that stupid.
Yeah.
Hey,
You were already drunk when you did it, probably. So it really
Like
didn't
I
matter.
said,
Yeah, we'll give you a cue on that. You were already drunk when you did it.
I was so happy. I thought he was going to be our savior, man.
We'll give
He
you a
looked so
pass on
good in
that one, brother.
college.
so
I love Joey Harrington
Third
coming
place.
out of Oregon.
the
Hey,
third
Mike,
place-
I felt the same way at Christian Ponder, so don't feel bad.
Oh, damn.
Christian
about John
Ponder got
David
into the
Moody?
playoffs, so
All right.
absolutely.
So the third place team was the Chargers. Mike Johnson. Where do you have them starting out, ending up this year?
I think their basement is 5. Their ceiling is 8. I don't see them really doing much. I think the whole Harbaugh effect is, just what it is, and I just don't. They didn't do enough in the draft. They didn't do enough in the offseason. They lost Bosa. The running game sucks. Herbert is overhyped, and he's got nobody to throw the ball to.
Lad
That sounds like an Ohio State take, to tell you the truth. That
He
don't
is
sound
an
like
Ohio State
no Charger take.
Okay. Adam, what is your take on the Chargers this season?
Well, I drafted Trey Harris, if that tells you anything. He might be the
Oh.
only one on this team that gets receiving yards as a rookie. They do have
McConkey.
They do have another big ass tight end that should work his way up the depth chart in Gaddison. Hampton should learn a lot from Najee, and maybe Harbaugh will figure out Najee and let him go back to his college days and figure out how to run the guy, because the Steelers couldn't figure him out for nothing. So we might see a little bit of a rebirth in Najee, and I hope we do, because I feel he kind of got wasted here.
You got Jalen Warren now, so.
But at the same time,
We got Caleb Johnson. What are you talking about?
Katie from Iowa. He'll be good.
At the same time, what I noticed about Najee Harris is when he got drafted is when your old offensive line was still in flux. It wasn't set yet. So he started out rough, but he ended up getting better throughout the season as the O-line started to gel and started to figure out how to play together. And that happened every year because they'd always get new players. They had to learn the system again. And it was the same thing at the beginning of the season every year.
Well, they're finally moving Broderick Jones back to left tackle, so that should be a huge boost, because now he's back to his real position that he played. But anyway, we're back. We're not on the Steelers today. We are definitely on the Chargers.
Chargers, yep.
Yep.
So how
many
Chargers.
wins?
So you said how many wins?
I'm going to say 8 to 9.
8 to 9. Okay. Jamie?
I actually think the Chargers could challenge. I think the Chargers actually could challenge the Chiefs for that division, because you saw what Harbaugh did in his first year, the way he built that team in year one, and they were already competing with Kansas City. Like I said, we'll get to Kansas City later, but I really think that the Chargers can be an improved team in year two. I'm actually going to say 9 wins to 12.
Wow. Okay. Will?
I'm going to say 7 to 9, and I'm going to say 8 wins. And guys, I know you brought up the rookie wide receiver. You can't forget about Lad McConkey. He was actually pretty darn good.
That guy's always open every time he wants the ball.
But go ahead, B. I got 8.
I can't understand why they brought back Mike Williams.
I think y'all are underestimating Jim
viable.
Harbaugh.
Because Quentin Johnson is supposed to be Mike Williams, and he's not.
Mike Williams is a good addition to. I mean, he knows the system. So
The big body, the red zone target. Quentin Johnson's so far been a bust. So you need somebody to fill that position.
Right.
Yeah, it's 2 straight years of least.
Isn't Williams like 38 years old?
No.
32.
But
There's been like 5 Mike Williams in the last 10 years.
He'll be 30. He'll be 32, I believe. In
it's like there's a lot of Michael Johnsons.
It was
Go ahead,
84 years ago.
There's only one, B.
Can go be.
Oh, there is another Michael Johnson. He's the Speaker of the House.
Oh
That's
my
me,
God.
bro. You didn't recognize me?
Mike
To a
Johnson.
beard.
All right.
You kinda
Let's
look
get
like
Ken
him a
Gobe.
little
They call him
So-
Mike. They call him
Hey,
Mike.
let's get Ken Dobie's take here.
Anyway.
Wait, I was waiting for B's take. You get to
Yeah, I
finish his
didn't
take.
say it.
Okay,
Adam, Mike Williams will be
Come on
31
now.
on October
Jamie.
4th.
Jamie,
Jamie,
Huh?
please.
I
He'll be
got
31 on October 4th, but go ahead.
I got the Chargers between I believe like between 11 and 12 wins in that division. I do think and when we get to them, I'll let you know. But Kansas City is going to take a drop this year. I think
no.
are taking that.
Kitty Ken.
What's up there,
What's
Kate?
up, Derek? Kitty
Hey there, Mister. I
Ken.
think Jordan Love is going to be the MVP this year, Katie Ken.
Oh, you better fucking believe it.
Oh,
No,
I got a
no.
screenshot.
Nobody's gonna
I
believe
got
that
him winning
shit.
an MVP too in the toilet bowl as
Yeah.
the battle
Right.
of the two worst teams in the league.
But
anyways.
I think
Your
like,
team
I'm
wanted
going to
the
agree with.
push band.
I think I'm going to agree with Jamie and B, and I think main event's going to kind of agree with me. I think that because I've noticed his reactions to some of these takes, I think that really the Chargers are going to challenge for this division. They've answered a lot of questions with the running game. I think they got maybe the best running back in the draft. Some people said Genty, but the kid they drafted, I would have been very happy with in Chicago. I think they've got a team, and they've still got. Get it. Khalil Mack is old, but he's still getting it done. So until he doesn't, he's getting it done. Bosa's still getting it done. I think that
Bosa's
team
not
challenges.
there
Bosa's gone. He's not there anymore.
I'm sorry, Bosa's gone. I'm sorry.
God.
Yeah,
But
guys.
Derwin James is a stud.
Yeah, there we go.
Ken, just back
Bosa's
to your,
already gone.
Ken,
His
back to your
ass is
point real
already
quick.
hurt.
According to a couple of the websites I read,
Oh my-
Hampton is in the best position to succeed on his team.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Omari
just-
Hampton. I think they might have gotten the best running back in the draft, possibly. So I just look at their floor being around 7 and their ceiling being about 12. And I think they could really push to win this division.
All right. I'm
Go
going
ahead,
to take Kitty Ken's take on the Raiders if he thinks they're as improved as we do.
Oh, I think the Raiders will be a 500 team this year, so that's a hell of an improvement from last year.
Yeah,
There's no
we
such
all
thing as
pretty much
500.
settled in that 8 to 9
You
range.
know that, right?
Packer
now-
fans can
Well,
divide.
you know what I
17 by
mean,
2.
Bistro. That's why I
They
said
don't do math,
around
Mike.
500.
9 and 8, 8 and 9. I got you. That's what I said. So there you go.
Hey, Mike, we know
Right back.
Packer fans can't math.
Right.
They do
Neither
math real
Bears
well.
can either.
We beat
I
them
wouldn't
by
talk with the
2
Chicago
scores.
education system.
What are your thoughts
So
on?
what's your take on the Chargers there? What do you think they're 7
Oh,
to 10 wins?
The Chargers, I'm in full agreement. I really think that they're going to be the ones that end up winning the division there. I think Kansas City took a bit of a step back this past offseason, and now the Chargers kind of seem like they're starting to find their way. Now, granted, this is the Chargers we're talking about, so that they could epically fuck this up, but
Not with Harbaugh.
gotta
Not with
stick on
not
going
with
with them.
Harbaugh's coach, buddy.
All
It
I
ain't
got to
gonna
say
happen.
is they had a point where they were 1 game away from getting it tied up with the Chiefs, and the Chargers chargered their way out of the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Not with Harbaugh.
But anyways,
that ain't happening.
my main event. What's your take? What's your window?
I think the Chargers are a 9 and 10 win team. I think Denver's a 9 and 10 win team. Chiefs are a 9 and 10 win team. I think the Raiders will probably come in last with 8 or 9 wins, and that I think they're going to cannibalize each other this year in that division, and 10-11 wins could win that division. But the Chargers are definitely going to be in that mix. I think Najee Harris is exactly what Jim Harbaugh wants, a tough runner inside the tackles. Look at what J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards did last year in Harbaugh's system. And now you add Amari and Hampton and Najee Harris, 2 younger players, 2 healthier players, 2 tougher players. I think they're going to be tough. I'm not a firm believer in Justin Herbert, however. I think he's not the elite top 5 quarterback. So many people put him in that category. He has a barely 50% win percentage his entire career, but Harbaugh's a difference maker, just like Sean Payton's a difference maker, just like Andy Reid's a difference maker, just like Pete Carroll's a difference maker. You see where I'm going here? This division, like somebody said earlier on this panel, is the new NFC North this year. And I think 9 or 10 wins across the board for them. Some of them aren't going to make it.
All right. I'm in the 6 to 9 because I don't think they'll get to 10 wins because of Justin Herbert.
Thank you.
I just don't see him as a quarterback that can put the team on his back. He does it against bad teams, and he crumbles against good ones.
Yeah, but there's no way a Jim Harbaugh coach team's only going to win 6 games, Jeremy.
It's
You know
possible.
Look at his history, bro. Abso-fucking-lutely it is. He had
He also
one or
won.
two good
He was
years
also
with
in the
San
Super
Francisco.
Bowl, and he won a championship. So what are you
And
gonna
if-
say about that, buddy?
That's
So-
2 years.
Exactly.
So anyway,
years, bro.
He took
if
San Francisco that in
I-
3 years. What are you
if
talking
just-
about?
Go
If
cry
Justin-
about Ryan
Michigan-
Day some more, Michael.
if Justin Herbert was that fucking good, he wouldn't have thrown the pick that set the Jags up. So our old
Ryan
kicker
Day's a
could
freaking girly male.
kick the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, but wasn't Brandon Staley the coach at that time?
Yeah, it was.
Doesn't matter. Still Justin Herbert threw the ball.
Yeah, the coaching matters, man.
Justin Herbert is a modern day Ryan Leaf.
Ooh,
I wouldn't
I-
go that
no,
It's
hell
definitely
no.
better than Ryan Leaf.
That is the wrongest take on this. On this
I
How
wouldn't go
about,
that
how about
far.
this? I got all 3 quarterbacks in the same group: Sunshine Lawrence, Daniel Jones, and Justin Herbert. None of them have lived up to their first round billing yet.
No.
Well, Justin did that in his first
Well,
year.
with phrasing it like that, I'll give you that. But I think Herbert's head and shoulders above the other 2 guys.
Exactly.
Way.
Eh,
Yeah.
by a
Way.
I don't
Right.
even have Justin Herbert in the Trevor Lawrence. Oh my, Trevor
I
Lawrence
take
is in a
Justin
category all by
Herbert over
himself.
Trevor
Oh, Jim, come on.
Hey,
I'm
they both-
gonna
Y'all
go
are
there,
high, I
Jeremy.
tell you.
I would take Justin Herbert.
Well, give me
over
some
Shane
time,
Anderson
Bistro.
Goff.
I wouldn't take Herbert over off right now.
Hey guys, I
wouldn't
got
either.
I got time for one
That's
more. Then my wife
Okay.
needs some help in the house.
We are up to the Chiefs. I'm going to go ahead and get Mike's real quick, and then we'll start with the main event, Mike.
What about Denver?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Denver. We got
I kind of agree with. I think it was Ken that was saying earlier the Chiefs have taken a big step back. You know, they didn't do a lot in the offseason. You know, they can't sit and solely ride the shoulders of Patty Ice over there. I honestly see them their ceiling 11, their basement 9. Somewhere right in that area.
Well, you
My
just
kid's
jinxed
gone.
them by
You just
calling them
stole my-
Patty Ice.
You stole my line, Josh. I call him the Kansas City Queefs.
But you just called him Patty Ice, so he's
I
now
know.
the new Matty Ice.
I
His
know.
career is stunk.
And that's
So before-
why.
Before you hop off, give me your Denver take.
I think Denver's going to be the sleeper of the AFC. I think Bo Nix. Now he's going to be comfortable with Sean Payton over there. He's got some weapons. I see their ceiling at 12, and I see their basement at 9. I think Denver is going to be a team that's going to be kind of a reckoning, kind of like how Detroit turned their shit around in the NFC North. I think Denver's going to be a good team in the future here.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Have a great night, and we
Yeah,
will
Mike.
see you next week for the NFC North and AFC North.
Absolutely, guys. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Mike.
Good night.
Main event, Mike. What's your take there on Denver? We'll start with the right order.
We'll do Denver and Kansas City. How about that? Because I think they're all
Okay.
10-win teams. I mean, they all have the potential to go 10 wins. With Kansas City, they lose DeAndre Hopkins, but they still got Andy Reid. They're going to be tough, man. If they take a step back, okay, they lost L'Jarius Sneed last year. I mean, but come on. They won 15 games last year. They're going to be the team to beat in that division.
Asterisk 15 games.
No doubt about it. And they got Gardner Minshew as a backup. I like that as well.
A lot
As
of
far
their
as
15 games they won were helped by the refs, and they were squeaking them out.
okay.
You got to remember, we got a Bills fan right there beside me.
All right, we'll
and-
go with that. But
and
I'll
he's
tell you
got
what,
some angry takes on these
Denver,
two.
another team on the rise. That defense is going to be nasty in Denver, and that could go
Yeah.
a long way for them. And
Yeah.
again, I think they're going to be beating each other up, and they're each going to get 2 or 3 losses within their division. So it's going to be a dogfight, and that is probably going to be the most interesting divisional battle this year. So that's where I got them both around 10 wins.
All right. Ken Dobie.
Yeah, God, Mike, what the hell, man? Why are we agreeing so much tonight? Jesus. But no, I kind of agree with main event. I mean, look at my take on Kansas City though is a little more harsh. I think they got lucky with a lot of games they won last year, ref assisted or not. Their offense the last couple of years has sputtered out the gate, and they've won those games on the strength of their defense. Which, to be honest, I don't think it's as good this year as it was last year. This is a team that for 7 years of now we're calling him Patty Ice, of Patty Ice starting, has gone to the AFC Championship. That ends this year. I think they don't. In fact, they may not even make the playoffs in this division. And it's interesting because when Mike originally said this could be the new AFC North, he's not wrong. And it wasn't that long ago that the AFC West was the cream of the AFC, and they fell off for a couple years. When it comes to Denver, Bo Nix kind of overachieved last year. That team kind of overachieved a little last year, but they're still set up for success with a coach who knows how to put them in a good position. They will be competitive. I think I agree with Mike's ceilings on this. I just think that really the team, when you look at this division, that could end up being an odd man out, could end up being Kansas City. I think their luck may run out. They've had a lot of luck go their way for 7 years. These other teams have improved a lot. They're going to win a couple games they shouldn't, but I don't think Kansas City and that whatever you're going to want to call them, Kermit, Patty Ice, the Mahomie, just the new discount double check boy, the most valuable double checker, whatever you want to call the kid, I don't think he gets AFC Championship number 8 appearance. I don't think they get that.
I think there's one thing we're leaving out too is 2 huge weapons that Mahomes has at his disposal now, but they're hooked to the front of Brittany.
Yeah.
Well, and look at losing Tooney to the Bears was big for them.
Huge. That's huge.
That was huge. Yeah. And the year before that, they lost a big piece of the offensive line. They're trying to cycle out and get younger guys in to pick it up, but eventually the house comes crashing down. And look at Travis Kelce, not as good as he was 3 years ago. He's still good, but he's not as good. Their running back situation, they didn't get lucky with the patchwork they've been doing, getting the most out of guys like Pacheco, who most teams might not do as much, bringing back guys of old. They're getting away with it. Their receiving core has not been great. So, I mean, really, if you look at the AFC West, they're the team that has improved the least and probably will slide the most and could even slide out of playoff position with the rest of the way that this division is. And Denver, while they overachieved, they've got a coach like Matt LaFleur for Ken there who knows how to put teams in position and get the most out of the personnel group they've got. And that's why they overachieved. So Denver is, I wouldn't call them a sleeper. That's my thing. No one's sleeping on Denver. We all know about them now. Mm-hmm. The sleeper team in the division is the Raiders. Everyone expects the Chargers and Denver to be pretty good. Everyone expects Kansas City to be great, but that's going to be the surprise when they're not great.
That's a good take. And the Chiefs still have Spagnuolo. They still have 2 All-Pros on the defense and 2 Pro Bowlers on that defense and one of the best defensive coordinators. So they're going to be tough.
They're going to be tough.
Kitty Ken, how you doing? Meow.
Meow.
Not too bad there, Cage Lion. Did you find the key?
Yes, I did. But I'm still here, ain't I? Anyway.
My beard wants to be Ken's beard when it grows up.
All right.
And just think, that's blended in with my shirt, man.
3 words for you. Just for men.
I don't need to worry about any of that.
So your take, Denver, then Kansas City.
I'm on record on Ken and Mine show in the morning saying how much I like Sean Payton as a head coach, and I am really liking Bo Nix. At first, I was a little iffy on him coming in. I wasn't too sure if he was going to, be a real deal quarterback. But from what he showed last year, he most certainly is that guy. And I'm gonna say for them, I'm gonna give them 11 wins for it. I'm gonna say the Chargers were 12. In Kansas City, with a bit of a step back, I think they've taken. I don't think it's some drastic change that they've had, but I think they've slipped a little bit, and I'm gonna put them at 10.
Strilla.
So earlier I said San Diego at 11 and 12 wins. I got the Denver Broncos between 10 and 11, and I got Kansas City at third with about 10 or 11 as well, and then the Raiders.
Wow, look at this. Broski Bear says 14-3 for San Diego, 13-4 for Kansas City.
Dang.
That's
Denver
a
9-8.
little bit
record-
high,
Vegas
buddy.
If our
11.
records come true, there's going to be a lot. This playoff race is going to be fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not San Diego anymore.
All right.
Whatever. You know, we know
Well,
what you mean.
They're
Technically, there is no team in San Diego, but we get it.
Yeah.
LA and San Diego could be any more different.
There's teams in San Diego. It's just the Padres.
Yeah.
I still
San
call the
Diego.
Redskins the Redskins. So what?
Yeah,
You know,
there you go.
Aren't we
I
going
like
back
that.
to the Redskins? Or didn't that pass?
that didn't pass.
I'm
Damn.
surprised he didn't put Oakland.
Oh, I was gonna say I still call them Oakland.
That's my
Okay.
biggest pet peeve.
Can I,
Well,
I'm glad
Will.
they moved out of that dump.
Will's turn.
Jamie? Come on.
Hey,
What?
you let me handle the run of the show. You just
What?
answer. Will,
I got the Broncos at 11 wins. I got the Chiefs. Actually, sorry. I got the Broncos at 10 wins. I got the Broncos at 10, Chiefs at 9. I think the Broncos are going to shock everybody this year. I love Bo Nix. I have been high on him. I just think this is the year the Chiefs take a minor step back, not a huge step back, like everyone said. But for some reason, I just think the Broncos. I have 11 wins.
Broski, the Raiders are the used store of the league. Oakland, LA, Oakland, Las Vegas.
Wow.
They got fans everywhere.
Yeah. All right, Jamie.
Okay. Denver. What can you say about those Broncos, man? I think they're gonna be another team that's gonna be like the Chargers competing in that division. I'm going to say I think their running game is gonna be good with Audric, the baby bus estimate, now running the show for Notre Dame.
RJ Harvey's going to be the starter.
I like Bo. Get your necks on Route 66. That's the quarterback. I think he's going to be approved. He's not going to have a sophomore slump. So give me the Broncos. I'm going to say 10, floor 10, ceiling 12. Kansas City, I think we kind of saw last year in the Super Bowl what happens when your luck runs out and when you face a team that can push your way to the top and that's how they beat you. And like I said, I think we've also learned that Kansas City's not the type of team where they could ride the coattails of Mahomes with basically no receiving core. I think we learned that he's not Tom Brady and can actually do well with nothing at receivers. Only Brady or even Josh Allen can only Brady and Josh Allen can do that. But I think the Chiefs are I'm gonna say 9 as my floor.
You guys hear my
11.
dog snoring.
And 11 as a ceiling.
Brady had some good receivers, though. Sorry to interrupt, but he
Only
had some
for
good
2 years, and they didn't win the Super Bowl those years.
Yeah.
No, I'm
But
talking about when
anyway.
he won the. No, I'm saying when he won the those 6 years, those six years when.
Broski's
Yeah,
out
you-
one tonight. I love it.
Mahomes
I'd rather
only-
that. Guess what, Broski Bear? It's also football. There is tush push. It's not painting
But like
your
the thing
fingernails
with
like a
Mahomes
Barbie.
though, like if you look at when Mahomes is a couple of the big games he's won, it's not the arm, it's his legs, his ability. Look at last year in the playoffs, like the Bills game. Why did they get that touchdown? Because he ran these big 15-yard break-off runs. It's Mahomes' legs that won him more games than his arm. His legs set up his arm with no receiving core. If you shut down the Mahomes' ability to run, put a spy on him, and why people aren't is beyond me with the lack of receiving core, you should be putting a spy because that's how Mahomes has been beating people with his legs.
We
Right.
got to stop. They didn't have the most drops in the league. That was Green Bay's receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All that cheese
And
they
Andy
made.
Reid is
Why are you
a
bringing up
chess
old shit,
master, though.
JB?
Andy
Okay,
Reid's a
Mike.
chess master, especially over the middle.
I'm quite glad that we finally went out and got ourselves a first round receiver and that Xavier Williams kid's there, or Savion Williams.
All I have
Oh,
to
well,
say
you hope.
about
You hope.
Golden is
That
I love
Golden's
Jake.
gonna be a beast, dude. I like him.
that's
All
a
right.
The
weird
receiver
So
is the quarterback.
I'm going to
anyway.
get Adam's take now.
I think RJ Harvey's going to love running behind this Denver line. I think this is going to be fun. Kind of reminds me of this is Sean Payton, what he wanted. Tall lineman with a small running back, so be able to slide through those holes, and he's going to make it a nightmare for the defensive backs.
That's what he said.
Then I can see what they got Hufunga, right? The Denver went out and got Hufunga. And they got this rookie named Jaradi Barron. And I think it's going to be a big improvement. I can see 10 to 11 wins for this Denver team. You guys are leaving out the fact that Kansas City has 3 probably fast receivers just waiting in line with Jalen Royals. You got Xavier Worthy, and you have Rashid Rice coming back. I don't care. Kelsey can still catch the damn ball. He's, just because he's not as, but if you leave him open, he's going to be a safe spot.
I know.
Yeah, but if I leave Kitty Cat Ken open, he's a safe spot too.
But anyways,
And
I
then,
hate taking
about
kitty
Travis
cut from
Kelce.
you, damn it, Care Bear.
Why
I
is there
remember
such
how-
an attack on Ken here all of a sudden?
and
I
I
remember
know
last.
I know someone mentioned that the running game. Yeah, Pacheco's a little washed up. Kareem Hunt's a great fill-in. They did sign Elijah Mitchell, and he looks to be fully recovered finally from all the fucking injuries this guy's had. And they drafted the rookie Braids, and them 2 kids in the back of them 3 and 4 running backs could be pretty potent for the Chiefs.
And they
So
got
I'm not
Greenlaw.
counting anything out. You guys are counting the Chiefs dead in the water, but I understand that they lost. I understand that they lost the free safety or the cornerback to Denver, Colston, but I can still see Kansas City running this division. I think this is still their division to lose. Eventually, the Super Bowl run is going to tire out. I mean, we've seen it in every professional team out there. You can only do it for so long before you just fall over dead.
But I mean,
Do
that's
we
the
have
thing that,
Chiefs
like,
fatigue? Is there such a thing as Chiefs fatigue? Is that what we have here? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
we're out on it.
look at like, exactly what he said though about the running. The patchwork they're doing with the running game, and they got these speedy guys. That's every year for Kansas City. That formula's worked. It's going to work. At some point though, that formula is not going to work anymore. And with this division getting better, this might be. So I'm not saying they're dead in the water. I'm saying this division has caught up to them, and they may now be the odd man out because the division has done the work, and they know the recipe that Kansas City plays with, and the league knows now the recipe they play with, and it's been very successful. Not trying to take anything away, but at some point that recipe no longer works, and I think this could possibly be that time with the way this division's upticked.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
This be the year that Reed retires.
Maybe.
I still feel that Denver is probably going to be up to at least a 12-win team. I got them at anywhere between 10 and 12 wins. I think Kansas City does take a step back, and I have them between 9 and 11. And I've still got them hovering right there in the middle. And the reason why is I don't think they're going to get less. They're not going to be less than a 500 team, no matter how bad it is with the roster. Andy Reid's good enough to at least make them over a 500 team.
Well, 9 and 8's a 500, an over 500 team, and still missing the playoff spots.
Right. Just ask Mike Tomlin. He loves that number. Fucking piece of shit.
You
He's
can
happy
tell
with
that's
that
a
number.
Pittsburgh fan.
He's fucking happy with that number, and he's brought the whole city down to believe mediocre he is.
Oh,
Fucking
and Art,
great.
and the Roonies love it too because they keep re-signing them.
Fucking bullshit. Art would have had his ass fired by now.
But you look at the AFC West. I think Mike had it when we started this off. Though, like they're the new AFC North. I mean, you've got the AFC West, the AFC North, 2 really good divisions on the AFC side. On the NFC side, it's the North and the East.
I agree with that. I think the Giants are on the come up, but they're not quite there yet.
No,
So
East and a
half the
half.
league is like really super good, and the other half of the league divisions, they're like
Poo-poo.
they have maybe like their thing is one good team, two mediocre, and one sucky team.
Well, I know the
All right.
AFC South. I know the South teams in each conference suck ass bad.
Like we talked about
I
last
didn't
week.
know that, B. I knew that as an A.
Well, like even with
Hey,
the both South
hey,
teams have
speaking
in
of-
their cases one good team and three shitty teams.
Yeah, the AFC.
Will,
is
did you
what
see NFL rumors today? They had your Carolina Panthers making the playoffs.
Yep.
I was.
Yep.
I can.
I do
we're
too.
a fringe
I
playoff team.
said Panthers and Patriots were my two dark horses this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where are
Because
we
the
now?
tush push wasn't banned. They've decided they're just going to throw Bryce Young over the line.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Hey, whatever works,
So
right?
let's move
Whatever
on to
works.
The
NFC
Bryce
West.
put.
Let's
That
move
vision
on-
is just hilarious.
Let's move on to the AFC West, and in fourth place last
You
year.
mean the NFC West?
NFC West, yeah.
You said AFC.
Uncharacteristically, wasn't it 49ers in last place?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Laura, start with the 49ers main event. Let's hear your take on them.
On the Niners,
Yeah,
Yes.
they lost 16 players
I
that
know.
went and signed contracts with other teams. So it's a retooling. They're turning over the roster. They signed a mid receiver in Brandon Ayuk for a max contract. Christian McCaffrey, who knows? They screwed my entire fantasy team last year by not announcing McCaffrey injury. I drafted him with the number 1 pick. They can suck it. The Super Bowl is in Levi's Stadium this year, and they won't be in it. So
Tell
they
me how
just
you really feel.
they're paying Brock Purdy. I see them as an 8-win team this year. Shanahan's overrated as well. I think the Rams are going to win this division. I got them as an 8-win team.
I call him Kyle Scamahan. He keeps getting a paycheck. He doesn't deserve it.
Mhm.
But anyways, Ken Dobie.
Yeah,
Your
so
take.
once again, I kind of agree mostly with Mike on this. I think the one thing about the Niners that kind of confuses me is, look, they just need to tear it down to the studs. You just gave your quarterback money, great, got it. But Kittle, they should have let him go and use that money elsewhere. I mean, they're not doing a retool. They're not doing a rebuild. They're muddled. And the bad thing is that division overall is so bad, they might get away with it and be competitive. It's not like they played the NFC North, or the East. They're playing the NFC South. They're
That's a
going to
great
win
point.
games. They're going to win games. They might win 10 games with it. But if they played any of these good conferences, these 4 good divisions we've just mentioned, I think they get shellacked more than they win.
Like last
I don't
year.
get what they're doing. I could see them as they're not. I agree with Mike. There's no way in hell they're playing in that Super Bowl. This team is just, they look like they know what they're doing, but honestly, when you really take a step back, it's a freaking mess. And they should have just gotten rid of Ayuk, gotten rid of Kittle, let the Bears overspend on Kittle because they would have, and be done with it and just bring in some young guys and rebuild now while you're in a shitty division. So I see them maybe, unfortunately, with the crappy schedule they have, they might get 8 wins or 10 wins and might actually be competitive. I do agree with Mike. I think the Rams are the class of this division and win it, but they're going to be competitive, and they'll give the Rams a little bit of a run.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty Ken. Meow.
There you go.
We're number 1.
We're
I
number
knew it.
1.
Hey, you're something, all right.
So,
Thanks.
No, but I'm going to say the 49ers. I'm going to say that this is where it's starting to fall apart a bit. You heard a lot of the fans sitting there bitching about Kyle Shanahan and how a lot of them wanted to move off from him this offseason. Now, granted, the organization didn't go that way, but you had a lot of fans calling for it. Brock Purdy didn't.
Wait, hold on, real quick. The fans call for this guy as soon as he starts getting under 500. So that's nothing new. That's every fan base everywhere. No, I go ahead. Sorry.
And Brock Purdy, you saw last year how he kind of took a step back with all the injuries that he had. And I think that step back's only going to get worse with the players that they have lost. So I'm gonna put them at 7 wins this year.
Will's got to get out of here. So, Will, do you want to get your take on San Francisco before you head out?
Yeah, do you want me to do all the teams or just San Fran?
Just go ahead and take care of San Fran, unless you want to do them all now.
I can rattle them off real quick. I got the 49ers with 8 wins. I got Seattle with 7 wins. Got the Cardinals with 7, and I got the Rams with 10.
All right.
Wow.
Well, thank you very much, Will. And you have
Thank
a
you,
good night,
guys.
sir.
Have a good
Make
night,
sure you check him
everybody.
out. WVogs 18. That's his channel.
Yep, and
Sports
guys,
memorabilia,
remember.
comic books, all that stuff.
Yep, and guys, remember to like the video you're watching and share it out.
Thank you.
Much love.
Have a good night,
See you
Will.
guys.
See you
You too.
Friday.
I will.
Yep, I'll be there Friday. Oh wait, I won't be there Friday. I'll see you next Wednesday.
Okay. All right. B, let's get your
Bless
take
you.
on
Bless
San
you.
Francisco.
Bless you.
Thanks.
So, yeah, I have to follow a Packer fan who is always bitter against the 49ers, you know.
So that's because all of his quarterbacks love him and can't beat him.
Right.
But anyway,
I'm going to say
Can't
that
beat them, ban
I'm
it.
pretty much with most of the majority so far of the panel that San Francisco is going to probably regress in the basement again. I see their top being 8 wins. I think the only reason why they get 8 of those wins in the first place is because they got Saleh as a defensive coordinator, which he's going to, just being a coach is just going to raise that defense up. But their offense is going nowhere. We don't know how long CMC is going to last in the season. All he needs to do is somebody step on his foot one more time. He's going to retire because he shouldn't be playing in the first place.
right.
Too many doctors told him not to play. So,
Jamie.
Yeah, I agree. The 49ers are going to be at the bottom, but their defense should do well with Robert Saleh coming back as the defensive coordinator. I see I'm gonna say 7 wins at the least, 8 at the most.
Adam.
This defense took a big shot losing Ward, losing Hufanga. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure Shiloh is going to be able to get in there and make his guys play. Is the Hawaiian going to start? I cannot pronounce his last name, but it starts with the M. I cannot pronounce it. I looked it over like 8 times, and I'm not even going to try and butcher it. But I don't even know if he's going to start the season because he is in red right now. So is Ayuk. He's still in red. So Ricky Purcell is going to be their number 1 guy, and Juwan Jennings should be their number 1 guy, but they're gonna make it look like Purcell is. Will Isaac Guendo have the rookie follow up like he did last year with McCaffrey going out? I could see 8 to 9 wins. I think this is one of them, another crapshoot division, like we just talked. Like I think who just said they played the South. I forgot who said it.
That'd be
But,
me.
but they play the South. They play the South, so there's a chance they could get 9 to 10 just because of the shitty division.
Yeah, I mean that's the lookout thing when we look at this division. They're not playing the NFC North. They're not playing. They're going to play one game right against so the Niners are going to get the Bears. That's going to be a good game for Chicago to win. But the rest of
Chicago
the
always
division,
seems to win, don't they?
I mean, if they got Green Bay, they'd probably win that game. But against the rest of the North, they're probably losing. They get
It's
one
not
game
the
against.
playoffs, Ken. We can take care of them in the regular season.
They get
Right.
one game against the East, the NFC East. They're not playing the best of the NFC. And conversely, for the AFC, besides their division, right, the guys that finished in like position, they are not playing the best 2 divisions in the AFC this year either. So, or the best division in the AFC. So they've got an easy schedule, does the NFC West, where we're looking at teams that we think might be dog shit, might end up with 10 wins because they're not playing really good teams.
Right.
And remember, we don't know about the schedule in the first place. Oh, that's a crapshoot because so much changeover. Just remember that. We could talk shit about the South teams from both conferences
South could
all
be
the
hot
time,
this year.
but they could they could explode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
just
a
like the
chance
North
that two
has.
teams will be good in the AFC South. That's for sure.
I mean, because it's not like the AFC South. Yeah, they've got two teams that could be interesting to say the least, and even the NFC South, you've got they're interesting too. Put it that way. Tampa's, I think, the best team there. Atlanta's going to be interesting. Carolina's going to be interesting. I mean, so Skrilla's right. I mean, we look at these divisions and say, oh, but they could blow up all of a sudden. I mean, but then where's the subtraction, right? If we're adding what's dropping off, and I don't see the NFC North dropping off. I don't see the AFC North dropping off. The NFC East isn't showing any signs of it. I mean, so the AFC West is looking like they're the ones taking a step up overall. So where's that drop off coming from?
Right.
I have a question real quick.
Okay.
Do you think the Falcons are fucking up by wanting teams to pay almost $20 million for Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Or
That's why nobody's trading.
Or do you guys think they don't want to get rid of him?
I think it's the latter.
You don't think
They've already paid him. They've already paid him the roster bonus.
Right.
And they're
So,
trying to get money back.
It's like you either give us something back or forget it.
And see, though, on the other side, though, now they can go to the fans. Look, we couldn't trade him. Yeah, we made a bad deal with the signing. We know we got it. But low key, it's like, thank God we couldn't get rid of him because if Penix doesn't work, we still got Cousins.
Look at Penix's injury history as well.
Yeah.
That
And
factors.
Cousins is not showing up for OTAs though.
No. Well, I
So
wouldn't
he's
if
gonna
I were
get
him right
fined for
now
that.
either.
I wouldn't either.
When you're a seasoned vet like that, it's not that big a deal. It's pretty common all
I'd
over.
be doing like Penn.
Miles Garrett was sending pictures from Japan the other day during OTA.
And Josh's question there is, I've seen that article too, how the Steelers have some interest in Cousins if Rodgers doesn't sign. And so if I'm Atlanta, look, if the Steelers are really that desperate, give me some money.
I don't understand that shit. Why
Well,
draft Howard?
As a Steeler fan, you wouldn't rather have Kirk Cousins if you don't get Aaron Rodgers?
Well,
I'm okay with Howard and Mason.
You'd rather have that than Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers?
How good was Kirk Cousins last year with Drake London and Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're Atlanta, this is their low-key way of trying to really not trade him. But say they tried to trade him.
Right, right. But I mean, how good was he with those two players?
Pitts is not a barometer.
They weren't very good.
Kyle Pitts is not a barometer.
I got the 49ers at 6 to 9 wins. I don't think they get 10. They lost too much on defense. I don't care that they got Robert Salah back because it's changing the defensive scheme, which means the defensive scheme is going to be a little slower to start.
Here's a question for you, JB, though, while on the Niners. Does Purdy prove that he's not worth the contract that he just got paid this year?
If he keeps throwing the ball and completing almost 70% of his passes, he's worth every penny to what that organization thought he was.
However,
that's a good observation. Good answer.
Without his weapons that he's had in the past, he will fold. He showed that against Minnesota twice in 2 years when he didn't have CMC. Whenever he doesn't have a weapon, that dude is ass.
Well, he wasn't Mr. Irrelevant.
I still think he's worth the contract because it was a good deal for the team and it was a good deal for him being Mr. Irrelevant, getting $53 million a year. He's not in the top 5. He's just outside of that, right? So I think that's fair. And within a couple of years, he'll be 17th or 18th on the list as the contracts start leapfrogging each other. He'll keep falling down that list, and this will look like a really good contract in 2 years.
I mean, think about this. He's one draft pick away from being secret Bay agent, man. Sorry, I had to do that piece. He's one draft pick away from being Tyson Bagent.
Yeah. But anyways, now we're on to the next one, and we're going to start with Adam this time, and that would be the Arizona Cardinals. Where do you got them at, Adam?
Arizona. I thought we were going to Seattle. My bad.
He's got him by the time he gets to Arizona is what he's got. For those who get the song reference.
By the time I get to see you.
Well, they have one rookie starting on defense. They brought in 5 new players, or 4 new players to start now. I've never been a Kyler Murray fan, so
Ken's gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
I got a jet, fellas. I appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for
thank
having
you,
me.
Maine. Appreciate you. Shout out your channel real quick.
Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Mondays. It's the main event on this very network. Have a good one, guys.
All right, man.
Easy, Mike.
Big Grease, brother.
Have a good one, bro.
all right, Mike, take it easy, man.
And then there were 6. The Sinister 6.
I mean, besides Marvin Harrison Jr., do any of these receivers scare you?
No. Does Whitey Mouse
He don't even
1.0 scare you?
I mean, Trey Benson and James Conner. Conner's got to be, what, 30? He's still good, but, I mean, he's not great.
Hey, and Ken Dovey up there is a Bear fan. So there you go, Rick Diaz.
So I just don't know. I see 6 wins. I don't know. I'm not shooting high on this team.
Okay, Jamie.
Arizona, I think is a wild card type of team. They could be as good as they want, and they could be as bad as they want. I feel you may not like Kyler Murray, but they think he can still get the job done because they haven't taken a quarterback since him. James Conner did well for me on fantasy. I think they could run the bubble, but I think their calling card's defense because of who their head coach is, Jonathan Gannon, a defensive mind from the Eagles. So yeah, the Cardinals, I'm going to say 6 is my lowest to 8 is my highest.
All right. Estrella.
There you go, Ken. Make sure you follow Rick.
I got the Cardinals. You know, they do have Zay Jones, Michael Wilson as receivers as well, and they have Trey McBride too. He was one of the best tight ends in the league last year.
Did he catch touchdowns?
I don't know, but he was good. He moved the ball, so
he caught a few.
Defensive line has got Josh Sweat on it now. Linebackers, he did get Isaiah Simmons and Xavier Collins, so their defense has gotten a lot better. And that'll get them some wins right there. But I think they're third. I think they're just destined for third place. Though I think they'll be a 8 to 9 win team.
Get again.
Yeah, I'm putting Arizona. Oh, yeah, you're still getting it.
I know.
I'm going to put Arizona at 8 wins. Kyler Murray is a serviceable quarterback. He ain't great by any means, but he can get the job done relatively with him being a dual threat. Their defense, like B. Strilla said, has improved. And I'm going to actually say that they finished second in the division.
And guess who else was just cleared for him to play this year, because he really didn't get to play all last year? Their first round pick rookie Darius Robinson, the DN.
Oh yeah.
So I know that Ken loves the Keebler Elf because that's his fantasy quarterback. And when he said a dual threat, I don't know if you saw my face. I was like, huh? Does he mean dual threat because he's good on PlayStation and Xbox?
Oh,
yes.
Call of Duty, man. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty versus GTA. I mean, I don't know. Look at Kyler Murray's been an enigma. I'll grant that. Like everyone's like, oh, the guy's dog shit. Then he plays pretty decently for a bit. They are a better team with Murray than without. We saw that when he missed time with injury. But when I look at their games, like last year, they beat a Bears team that just fired a head coach, had no clue where the football field was, let alone the team they were playing. So, like, you look at some of their wins last year, they were opportunistic. I don't think they're that good. I agree. The receiving core doesn't scare me. Marvin Harrison has potential to be really good. Kyler Murray, though, can't see him because he can't. He can't see that his guy is wide open. Any of us could stand out there and we block the sun for this kid. I don't have the faith in Arizona. I think Arizona, they're one of these mediocre teams that racks up some good opportunistic wins every year. But when it comes to pushing sub and being a serious contender and getting to the playoffs, they're not it. I see their ceiling at maybe 8. I see them winning 5 to 6, and probably dead last in the division.
I have their window of wins from 6 to 9, and that's where I'm at on it. Kyler Murray, you could do with him the same thing everybody threatened with Bryce Young. You don't have the tush push, you have the quarterback toss.
Their coach is from the Eagles, by the way. So,
Well, the defensive coach.
yeah, but still, he was a part of that.
But I mean, you don't
know him very well, Rick.
You look at
there you go.
Like, look at would anyone on this panel, if Arizona was on your schedule, go, "Oh yeah, we need to worry about that game." No,
Last year
everyone
I
on this
did.
panel is
As a Bills fan.
everyone on that panel is like, "We're winning that game."
All I know is
Week 1 as a Bills fan, I was actually nervous about that game, and we had to come back to beat them at home.
all
Well,
right.
Week
with Mike
one,
Tomlin,
though,
I'm
is
worried
like
about every
preseason
fucking
football.
game.
Next up, we have the second place team in the division, which was the surprise to everybody because everybody expected them to fall off last year. It was the Sea Chickens.
So the Sea Chickens, I think, are what they are. I think they'll kind of sit. I don't see much change for them. I think they're going to be in second place to the Rams. They're going to be competitive. The interesting thing about Seattle last year, 12th man last year was the first year was not a factor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't they better on the road than they were at home last year? Which was the irony of Seattle last year. The 12th man.
I know that it was the exact same thing with the Cowboys last year too.
Yeah.
Remember, on the road, I think they were 6-2, and at home they were 2-6.
So I don't get the 12th man thing is gone for me. They're going to be.
Stadium is still cool to be at.
I think they'll finish second in that division. Schedule is going to play favorably for them. Within the division, I think they're going to beat Arizona both times. They'll probably lose both times to the Rams and split with San Francisco. So, I mean, that's why I think they're the second place team in that division.
All right. Kitty Ken.
Yeah, I absolutely don't believe in the Seattle Seahawks whatsoever this year. Their offensive line is not great. They have Sam Darnold as quarterback. You see what happens when Sam Darnold does not have great protection for him. You start to see the Jets and Panthers, Darnold. I think they finish Give me 6 wins for them.
You know, but Darnold, I'm going to say the same thing. I misspoke by saying Geno Smith. Darnold, they'll look at the blueprint on him is as long as he just game manages, he's going to win games up there. That's what he did in Minnesota. He game managed. If he can game manage Seattle and not try to create offensive scores, not try to create superstar plays, just do what he was good at last year, he's going to be fine.
But at the same time, don't forget they lost DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett this year, which was 66% of their receivers.
You know who's like, they're waiting to call, right? Aaron Rodgers, because MVS is there.
All right, B, it's your turn. Give us your shout about Seattle Sea Chickens.
Well, obviously, Seattle has enough faith in Sam Darnold because they traded away the other Sam to Minnesota. And they did get Gray Zabel as offensive lineman. And then for added protection, they decided to draft Jalen Milroe. Everybody forgets about that draft pick. So just remember that that guy's waiting in the wings.
Dude,
and
forgot about Drew Lock.
If Drew Lock's
a giant
ass.
No, he ain't.
No, he's not.
Drew
He
Lock's
sucks
been a
ass
giant
anyway.
last year.
No, he's on Seattle.
Not this year.
He's on
Oh, they
Seattle.
signed him back.
He's back in Seattle, baby.
Yeah, he sucks though. But anyway, the Jalen Milroe should be him out. He's ass. But anyway, I'm just saying that if Sam Darnold goes on a wrong side of wins and losses, I think it's going to be Milroe that's going to take his spot. No, that might be better for the offense because he'll be not a game manager. He's going to be one taking it downtown, and he's got wheels. So it's kind of like having, Geno back in the lineup or Russell Wilson, because that's what kind of quarterback he is. I'm not saying he's as good as them. I'm just saying that's what kind of quarterback he is. So I'm like Ken. I got them in second place. I think they're going to win more games than they lose, and that'll be good enough for second place in that division.
Yeah,
Jamie.
Yeah, I have faith in the Seahawks winning games with Darnold. But like I said, B Trilla said over here, if something goes wrong with Darnold, the fans are gonna call for Jalen Milroe, and they're gonna go to Jalen Milroe, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
No, hey Rick, it's a personal thing between him and I. I put up that Kitty Ken picture and then say right meow all the time to him, so I get the finger for doing it.
Rick's a Niners fan, guys.
But anyway, I think Seattle. I think they're gonna win. Let's see. I got 8-10.
Adam.
I think Jaden Milroe might start the season. I don't care how much you paid Sam Darnold. I think the guy sucks. But then again, I don't know Seattle's schedule. So if they have any primetime games, you might as well count that as a loss. Sam Darnold cannot play in primetime. We all saw that in back-to-back weeks. And obviously, we got to go to LA to play. It's a primetime game, and I suck. Anyway, you get up for these football games, and I don't care what they say. Okay, you don't like cry because you got to go on the road because you're 14-3.
I agree with what GoPack Go said about the Seattle. They lost a lot on their offensive line. They lost DK Metcalf. They lost Tyler Lockett. Kenneth Walker is looking a lot more.
But they got Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, they got Cooper Kupp. Woohoo!
And MVS, and they still have JSN.
I'm not scared of
Or
MVS
JNS,
either.
sorry.
Now, Jack Smith, the Jigba, I like. But I don't
I always say
everybody.
JSN. I never say JNS. Does anyone else get that confused? Sometimes, just slips that way.
JSN.
Just as long as you don't confuse the N in this name, you're all right.
Yeah. The Jigba.
Yeah.
Get it right. It isn't that kid at Eastern Michigan University that's a linebacker right now.
Yeah, I can see Sam or whatever the hell his name is being on a very short leash with McDonald as coach. He knows what it's like to have a running quarterback at quarterback coming from Baltimore a couple of years ago.
I got him at 6-10 wins myself.
Yeah, I have it 6-10 too, Jim. Sorry.
Because if it goes bad with that O-line, Darnold's going to be. We saw what happened when we didn't even touch him. We didn't sack him that game. All we did was get close to him and scare him, and he threw like 3 picks.
That was that one game. But see, when we played them in Minnesota, he was very good in Minnesota when we played him.
Was it a prime game though?
No.
That's why.
Yeah, prime time doesn't mean nothing.
Sam Darnold sucks in prime time.
Well, that's what they said about Cousins too.
So,
but Cousins changed that around.
Now we're to that first place team, the LA Rams. I'm going to start with you, Adam.
Rams, Devontae Adams edition. Matthew Stafford, obviously. That's a story and a half too. The go around with all that, the wife, the ex. Hot. Dude. Every football player's wife is hot, dude.
Yeah, but have you seen her in the pillow commercials with them?
She's a blowhard.
Yeah, that's the side of the football season for me, Kelly Stafford and a TV commercial.
She's a
No, I
blowhard.
haven't. Maybe we should share this because I've never seen it.
You're not missing
I
much.
see them being a 9 to 10 team win.
All right, Jamie.
Jamie, what did you say? I guess that comment went to Jamie, right?
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
said
I said she was hot, and did you see her in that pillow commercial with her and hubby Matthew? But that was it. Anyway, moving on to football talk. I can save my other talk for Chicks in the Office on Barstool. But anyway, back to this regularly scheduled program. I think the Rams with Sean, I call him Sean Backstreet Boy McVay, or Sean Pretty Boy McVay. Anyway, but I do like him. I like his style of coaching. I like the Rams. Adams was a great move to the receiving core, as Adam said. McVay just does a great job with that team. I mean, they've only won one Super Bowl, but when you have him as your coach, you're gonna be they could end up being a serious contender someday and get back in it again. But I think I got the Rams 10-12.
All right, Beastrilla.
Yeah, really, I think the thing that's going to change the Rams around is we all know their offense, and the offensive line has gotten a little bit better too, because they decided to give one of their offensive linemen to Chicago. Good riddance. But anyway, the defenses, they got Poona Ford. He's pretty respectful defensive lineman, so you got to watch him. Their defense has got a lot better. And from what they had last year, yeah, it's gotten a lot better. I can see 10-12 wins on the Rams and winning division. Hands down, they're winning division.
Right. Here to Ken. Kitty Ken. How are you?
Meow.
God damn it, Beastrilla.
I just want you to do that.
I know you didn't. I didn't want to let you down.
All right, buddy. What do you think about them LA scams?
I'm gonna say the Rams, since they're playing the weak divisions that they are and the additions that they've made, I'm gonna give them shit. I will give them 13 wins for this season.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
Ken the Bear fan. It's up to you now.
I don't know if Rick's talking to me or not in the comments there.
Yeah,
but,
he is.
Okay. Okay, whatever. No one's crying, but anywho, look in this division. There's only one quarterback that does. When you say his name, you're like, he can do things to win a game by himself, and that's Matthew Stafford. Stafford can do Stafford things. He keeps teams. You see, last year, are they going to win? Well, if Stafford does Stafford things, then yeah, Stafford win games. You don't say that about the Keebler Elf. You don't say that about the Ginger Jesus, and you don't say that about, oh, who's the other quarterback now? Yeah, exactly. Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. No, it's Matthew Stafford's division, and everyone else is trying to catch him. And you add Devontae, and say what you want. I think Devontae thrives with him. They get rid of Cooper Kupp and bring in Devontae Adams. Great trade if I'm a Rams fan. The Rams are the team in this division with the what we're perceiving as a weak schedule, 13 wins, not outside that realm of possibility for him because Stafford might be able to do that by himself. It's just I don't see anyone beating him. Stafford is just he will this team to victory, and the thing is he does not get the support outside Detroit that he should get. Detroit fans know Stafford, and they know Stafford's the reason why they're even remotely close to being relevant in any season. He's produced 2 Hall of Fame players right at wide receiver. Well, one, Megatron. But he's had a couple other guys. He's pushed their value way up that they got big contracts elsewhere. He is a true franchise quarterback. He's the only true franchise quarterback in this division. Period.
Show up,
top 10 in the NFC.
And Devontae will be happy because he'll actually be playing with a real quarterback.
Yes. And the McVay stuff, I like. McVay is a good coach. His coaching tree may not have a lot of success, but McVay does good things. The Rams are going to be the team that you have to beat. And look at last year, even the playoffs. Oh, we got to play the Rams. Not an easy out, right? The Rams are the only team in the West who are competitive against the NFC North, who are competitive against the NFC East. They could beat anyone in the NFC South. I'd love to see Baker and Stafford go at it because those are two guys. So I'm going to loop in Baker here. When Baker can do Baker things like Stafford can do Stafford things, those are the only two quarterbacks, not in the North and the East, that can compete in the North and East this year. So I give this division to the Rams hands down. I would say their floor is about 9, their ceiling's about 13.
And I have their floor at 10 and the top at 13. They got better on the offensive line. They got better on the defense. And they added Devontae Adams to replace Cooper Kupp. There's no drop-off of talent there. I think Cooper Kupp is a little better of an all-around receiver, but Adams is a better playmaker. Yeah. Does that make sense how I put it?
And JB, they got Puka. Puka kind of picks up the slack where Kupp Kupp and Puka were kind of somewhat the same. And Devontae now gives you something different. Devontae, you can literally throw the ball up and he'll just go get it. You didn't get that with Kupp. You don't get that really with Puka as much. Devontae adds another depth that you didn't have with Kupp.
And I have their floor at 10 and their ceiling at 13 because of the weak division that they play in this one.
Yeah, Adams takes the top off the defense. That's what's good about him.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't see them losing a game in this division, really, almost.
No.
I mean, it's going to be really hard to beat them in this division. I don't think.
The only place where they struggle is in Arizona. I don't know why, but they struggle at Arizona. They have not been able to sweep the division. It's 5-1 every time. They'll sweep the other two and split with Arizona. And I don't get it. It's kind of one of those things. Why? They're not that damn good.
Well, it's like the Packers playing the 49ers. I hate to break it up. Sorry, Ken. But it's like the Packers playing the Niners in the playoffs.
Or like when the Packers play the Bears.
Let me go.
You didn't have to go very far for it.
Let me go positive for Ken. Or it's like the Packers playing the Cowboys ever. They just have their number.
Right.
Like the Packers are legit undefeated in AT&T.
Right.
Ken's over there catching strays.
I know, right? But I mean,
you know what I love?
I'm used to it for being the top of the division for so long.
I just realized looking at the screen that this is so perfect because the 49ers are on top of 10.
That was earned, damn it. Why do you gotta break my heart, JB?
But I want to say thank you to the guys that were here and had to leave. Main Event Mike Johnson, and Will Vogel. I want to say thank you to each one of my guests. Ken from Ken and Ken in the Morning, and Ken from Ken and Ken in the Morning.
Imagine that.
I know, right?
And of course, we got Adam and Jamie Malloy from Driving to the Top Productions. They do a lot of stuff. Jamie also writes for Forkball, right? Is that the name of the website?
And yes, and stadiumrant.com.
And stadiumrant.com. And Bistrilla with his one ass cheek and 3 toes hanging out.
That's right. 4 o'clock.
He's going to get arrested for indecent exposure one of these days. So we're going to bail him out.
Now it's time for my favorite part of the show, and B loves it too, where we have to talk about our favorite sponsors. We're going to start from the bottom because Ken's here.
Yeah.
Fuck the Bears.
He's at the top of the thing, but he gets the bottom.
And of course, FDB.
I can get behind that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, you're usually behind.
And Minnesota can go get Skull Bug.
And
they will in week 1.
But
what, Skull
that's
Bug?
my fun part of the show that I do all the time, and it's just to have fun talking about our rivals. They do it on their shows. I might as well do it on mine. Yo,
what?
So
don't even, liar.
What have we learned?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. And that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Go Pack Go. Thank you, Rick Diaz.
Rick Diaz.
No,
is ready to
we're
go.
not. We're not talking shit, buddy. But next week we are doing the AFC and NFC North divisions. That's going to make Adam happy. He can talk about his middling Pittsburgh Steelers.
Sure.
The terrible towel is terrible for a reason this year.
But tune in next week, and also
Why don't
tune
you
in
stomp?
daily
Why
at
don't you
noon
stomp
with
on
Mr.
it for me, Ken, so you can just get your bad luck out of the way?
Hey, Ken, if you want to do that, I will send you a terrible towel.
No, that's okay. I don't want the post office app to be decontaminated.
Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku, Fire Stick, take your pick. Facebook, YouTube, where the action's slick. Daily shows that drop like a bomb. From 10 to 11, it's Ken and Ken, stay calm. Huddle up, catch the vibe, feel the rush. Get your news, get your fills in the clutch. Over 27 podcasts, we breaking it down. Join the team, Huddle Sports, wear the crown. Live every weekday, it's how we roll. Lions Talk with Jeremy B, we taking a stroll. From 11 to 12, don't miss a beat. We break down the game, make the info sweet. The Daily Huddle Podcast, noon to 1. CST Zone, we're just having fun. Toss your doubts, we bring the facts. Tune into the Huddle.